Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A historic moment here in London for Kenyan history. For the first time, a group of opposition leaders have come to London to speak to Kenyans, to the world, and to investors regarding the changes that might be there for Kenya and Kenyans everywhere in the world. It's a great privilege for us to interview the coalition members of called NARC in this press conference today. We have great men that have come to sell their vision to the Kenyans and to the world of what they intend to do for Kenya, socially, economically, and all the things that affect Kenyans. They want to speak to the world what their vision and their dream for the new Kenya is. Could I also stress this, that we have extended this one to any other party that might be interested to promoting the welfare of Kenyans, that they can come and speak to us. We are here to promote Kenya. With us today, we are privileged to have the NARC officials, who we are more than happy for them to introduce themselves so that you can hear their voices and what they do in NARC and what NARC stands for. We are going to start with the Vice Chair, who is going to explain himself, what he does in NARC, and he is going to introduce the other members in the panel.
My name is Michael Christopher Wamalwa. I'm the Vice Chair of NARC at the moment, although the positions are not clearly defined, but it's fairly obvious to everybody that, God willing, I'll rise to that position. On my right is Mr. George Muhoho, who is in charge of the presidential campaign, has been coordinating the entire presidential campaign from Nairobi. And on my left is the Honorable Peter Anyang Nyong'o, who also has been working on the presidential campaign, coordinating the Nyanza area of our country.
And the last member?
Yeah, my name is Peter Kanyago. I'm in the presidential campaign, and I'm the treasurer.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. You're welcome to London. We are here to do the best we can do for our country. But before we go ahead with our interview, we would like to pay tribute to the souls of Kenyans which were lost during the bomb campaign that happened when Al-Qaeda, so to speak, as some people are saying, they might be behind the bombing in Mombasa. Whereas we are still waiting for the reporters to tell us exactly, the investigations, to tell us exactly who might be responsible over this. Us as Kenyans, we condemn the bombing, and we are going to have 1 minute silence to remember those who have lost their life in the Paradise bombing in Mombasa. So we are going to observe 1 minute silence for the sake of those who lost their lives. Thank you very much. We are going also to express our sympathy to the president of your party, Mwai Kibaki, who is now here in London because of a car crash that happened sometimes earlier this week, I believe. And on behalf of Kenyans in UK, on behalf of us here in this conference, we would like you to pass our sympathy to him and quick recovery. And we wish him well in his campaign. Thank you very much. We are going straight to our interview, and I think we'll start with the chairman, just to express or explain to us, whereas I've made an introduction It's better for him to explain to us why has he come to London with his team.
Well, we came to London to visit with Kenyans who live here in London and take the opportunity of explaining to them in person what NARC stands for, what hope it represents for Kenyans, and perhaps to interact with Kenyans on a personal level and see what the Kenyans would like, what role they would like to play in terms of helping NARC to actually go on and win the next general elections.
Okay. Okay, what exactly is NARC? So there are a lot of people who might not be knowing what NARC all stands for. And there are people who would like to know, out there in the world somewhere, at Scotland or Wales or somewhere in Germany, they're watching this program and they wonder, what is NARC? What is it?
Well, this has something to do with the history of the struggle in Kenya. And after having lost several elections when opposition parties ran as individual opposition parties, Kenyans demanded that the entire opposition be united in order to have a chance of beating KANU. And so, in the course of last year, we held several meetings as leaders of our various parties. I'm leader of Ford Kenya. Professor here is leader of the Social Democratic Party. And various other people who led their own parties. Charity Ngilu led the National Party of Kenya. We sat down and first of all agreed that unless we unite, we had no hope of winning. So we had several meetings expressing the imperative for unity. And thereafter, we tried to spell out the methods of achieving lasting unity in NARC in order to help us win the next general elections. And it was obvious, soon obvious for us to see that we needed to unite under one umbrella body in order to encourage other parties to join us, and thereafter work on a program of unity between us so that we could go ahead to form an organization that would enable us win the general elections. And so we came up with the word NAK, National Alliance Party of Kenya, NAC. And we agreed on sort of modus operandi, how we were going to unite, how we were going to adopt a new constitution to enable us to move forward. And we moved on until towards the beginning of this year, we actually agreed on everything. And we set about organizing a union party, a party that would contain all parties in the opposition. So the party of the Democratic Party of Kenya, the Social Democratic Party, Ford Kenya, and various other parties agreed that they would now unite and adopt a completely independent name to be known as NAK, National Alliance Party of Kenya. And we came up with a new constitution for the new party. We met at various places, including Lions Camp Hill in Lake Nakuru. And it then became obvious that it would help if we were to unite all these parties and work together rather than each party working loosely in a sort of loose coalition. So we moved ahead and launched the new party, National Alliance Party of Kenya. And just about that time, the National Democratic Party people who had joined with KANU found it difficult to continue working with KANU. They were basically Democrats, and KANU does not believe in democracy.
Yes.
So they opted out and then chose to unite with the National Alliance Party of Kenya, and we became NARC, the National Rainbow Coalition, because the NDP people who left KANU left under the protest banner that they were now the Rainbow Coalition. So it was quite easy now to merge the Rainbow Coalition and the National Alliance Party of Kenya into NARC, which now was the super party embracing all the other parties. And we quickly embraced each other and began to work on details that united us. And we've covered a lot of ground at the moment, to a point where I think we've almost reached a point of no return. There's no way we can go back now. We're practically one party at the moment.
Good. It's a good thing to happen, because I remember in the last 97 and 92 elections, the parties couldn't agree on issues. So that's a very good sign of unity within the Kenyan people. I think it's a very good thing happening there. I'll go to a question of security, and because the presidential campaign head is here, he's going to handle that question, Mr. Muhoho. What is the security position in Kenya? We've had bombing in Nairobi, and over 200 people were killed, and now we have another bombing just down, not far from Nairobi, 500 kilometers away in the coast. What's happening? Do we have Al-Qaeda in Mombasa or in Kenya, or what's all this?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Macharia. The question of the bombing, the two bombings in Kenya over the last 4 years, is a part of the international phenomenon on terrorism. Terrorism is a worldwide phenomenon, and we in Kenya are obviously part of that world community, and there is no, there is no doubt that we are also being targeted as part of that. If you remember, the first bombing in 1998 was aimed at the American embassies both in Nairobi, Kampala, and Dar es Salaam. So really, the target was not necessarily the Kenyans. It was the American interests, because that's a part of the main terror attack. And this last attack was basically on the Israeli hotels and airline that come to Kenya. We play host both to the international community of whatever persuasions that people are, and the same way the World Trade Center was bombed, in spite of the best efforts and the best available security arrangements of the Americans, we fell victim to the same. It's not because there isn't security in Kenya, but it's because of the sophistication of terrorist activities that permeate the world today. So
what will NARC government do, especially that will be different from what KANU has done in terms of security, that such things like this don't happen in your government?
Well, obviously the first thing we would do is to try, want to protect our borders. We would have to work with the rest of the international community to make sure that our borders are secure. We would want to work with the rest of the international community to be able to share the intelligence information that there is. And by and large, we would want also to be there to promote with the rest of the world the world order so that people can, we can reduce those areas of tensions that create terrorism in the first place. Obviously, there are those who feel that they are unfairly treated. We would want to join the rest of the world community and see that justice is done to all, fairness is there is fair play in all, and that we would be able to reduce the international tensions and work towards a new world order.
Thank you very much. Professor Anyang Nyong'o, we have, it's a question about personality. There's, in NARC, from what you've seen, we have seen quite a number of former KANU members shifting from KANU to opposition, NARC. People like Professor Saitoti. We have Raila Odinga, among others, Ole Ntimama and others. Is this not, when they have come to the opposition, you've been able to not only just to let them participate in the NARC issues, but they have also been given some safe seats, so to speak. I mean, is there no hypocrisy within this group that has joined the opposition to make one group? Why did you accept these people in the first place?
Thank you very much, Sharia. First and foremost, as Michael was saying, we must understand that the National Rainbow Coalition is a coalition.
Yes.
It is a broad, united democratic front, and we must underline the word broad. It's broad because we are trying to bring together all forces that are opposed to the repressive and authoritarian regime that has been the regime of Daniel Arap Moi.
Yes.
It has been repressive and authoritarian, not just to society as a whole, but even to organization it runs, and that includes the ruling party KANU, in which there has been very little room for democracy.
Yes.
And anybody that wanted to reform KANU from within rarely had the opportunity. That's one of the reasons why the members of the National Development Party who went in there, hoping that KANU could be reformed from within so that to bring changes in the country, found it difficult to do so, and they had to leave and form the Liberal Democratic Party, which is now part and parcel of the National Rainbow Coalition. Now, we believe that at this point in time, one major contradiction in society is the Moi regime, and one major demand of the Kenyan people is democracy. So we are determined first and foremost to get rid of the Moi regime, to establish democracy. And within that democratic governance, which NARC will establish, we hope that we shall use the talents and contributions of everybody so that we move to the next step, and that is to ensuring that the rule of law prevails in the country.
Yes.
Now, of course, you always know that not everybody has the same quality, nor are we all perfect. So we must maximize our strengths and strengthen our weaknesses in the process.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kanyago, we live here in UK, and there are quite a lot of Kenyans all over. We are actually going to Germany to meet some of them. Some are in America. And Professor Guy was here to try and find from us a forum of us contributing towards the constitutional reform that is Guy Commission.
Yes.
And one of the issues that was brought in was the issue of Kenyans abroad voting. I don't know what NARC has in place in its manifesto regarding such an issue like this, because this Kenyans, we are Kenyans living abroad, but we have something that we want to contribute towards our country. We want to feel a part of the presidential votes, the part of constitutional votes in one or the other. What is NARC doing towards this? How is it addressing this issue?
It was our hope that even the current government would allow Kenyans abroad to cast their votes. Unfortunately, they will not be able to vote in the next general elections. But I can assure you, with the NARC government, all Kenyans everywhere will be enabled to cast their votes. Yes.
And on the same issue, we find that there's quite a lot of Kenyans who are abroad and they have started investing. Where you are is an investment of Kenyans in UK who are doing tremendous job abroad. And we have these people that needs to invest back home. They have money in their banks in UK. What incentives are there for Kenyans that wants to invest in Kenya? Some of them have complained actually that there are problems in them getting loans within their own country, so they feel that they want to continue investing abroad. What is the NARC's proposal towards helping Kenyans like this that would like to invest? They are inventive in their own way and they want to contribute something in that form. What is there for them?
The NARC government will put a lot of emphasis on the private sector. Mm-hmm. We shall revamp the capital markets, yes, the Nairobi Stock Exchange, uh-huh, and other private investment.
Okay.
As we know, there will be like a private sector advisory body, mm-hmm, to advise the government.
Yes.
And Kenyans, even now, they are hoping, they can see that the NARC government shall enable them to even invest in the Nairobi Stock Exchange. If you look at the edicts, because they are very hopeful,
yes,
that the NARC government will take over, mm-hmm, the edicts has started coming up as of now.
Yes.
So we are all very hopeful, and I can assure all the Kenyans not to fear. You know, we have a free, we have our economy is liberalized, there is no exchange control. They should be prepared to come back and invest in Kenya.
With that question, I just want to pose a question because the Kenyans abroad transfer quite a lot of money to their brothers and sisters back home, in tune of 30 or 40 million according to statistics. Would you like these people really to come back home, Kenya, or would like them to continue investing where they are and support the economy in the form that they're doing?
Well, let me say something about that.
Yes.
Look, investors are very rational people.
Yes.
I mean, you put your money where you know you'll get your profit.
Okay.
And you put your money where you know there's a responsible government,
uh-huh,
which will look after it well.
Yes.
The first thing that Kenyans will realize when NARC forms government is that this is a responsible government, uh-huh, made up of people who believe in their country, mm-hmm, people who put their money where their mouth is.
Yes.
And people who also believe in the rule of law, mm-hmm, that if you put your money in a bank, things will not change arbitrarily. Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, to ensure that the rule of law will prevail,
okay,
and that your money will be safe,
mm-hmm, and
that it will be looked after by men and women of integrity and honesty.
Okay.
So these are some of the things regarding good governance, mm-hmm, that NARC is laying emphasis about. Mm-hmm. And secondly, you see, some of the people who take money out of the country, mm-hmm, and invest abroad, mm-hmm, taking Kenyan money out of the country, invest, mm-hmm, abroad, people in government. We want to reverse this trend where people in government believe in their own country. Mm-hmm. Once people in government believe in their own country and invest there, then, mm-hmm, everybody else will also come and invest. Now, obviously, in the modern world, mm-hmm, where we have globalization, people should be free to invest money wherever they want to invest it. Mm-hmm. And that is why governments, mm-hmm, must compete in creating an environment that attracts investment, mm-hmm, both for local people, mm-hmm, and people abroad. Mm-hmm. I'm quite sure that Kenyans in Britain, mm-hmm, who will obviously not take all their investment from Britain, taking them to Kenya, mm-hmm, will obviously also find the opportunity that it is necessary to invest in Kenya, mm-hmm, particularly in the area of tourism, for example, mm-hmm, or in the service sector. A Kenyan will find that he will get more interest for his money, mm-hmm, creating a bank in Nairobi rather, mm-hmm, than doing it in Britain. And these are some of the things that we're going to do that will make us competitive, mm-hmm, in the money markets, mm-hmm, in the world today. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. We've got a very touchy issue that we have been in a previous meeting regarding economy. And the investors meeting was very, very successful, I must say. And one of the issues that I would like Mr. George Muhoho to handle is the issue of unemployment. We know that investors bring in jobs in form of their factories or whatever they want to invest the country, invest in our country. In what way will NARC help to attract the investors so that we can be able to reduce the unemployment level?
Well, as Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o has said,
yes,
any investor is going to invest where he or she believes that they'll get maximum returns for their investment.
Yes.
To be able to get that maximum return, first thing is the confidence in that system.
Yes.
People must believe that when they bring in their capital to Kenya, there'll be the conditions will be such that their money is going to multiply. So the first thing is to be able to have the security within the country.
Yes.
People must have confidence that their money, once they come to the country, they see the country is stable enough to give them the climate to be able to work and to be able to get back their investment. The second thing is that they must have faith in the judicial system, that if there was any dispute, that the rule of law would be allowed to take its course, and people can have recourse to a just system that would make sure that their investment is protected. So the NARC government is going to ensure that both there is a security and there will be protection of the individuals working and also of their property and their interests. We'll make sure that the judiciary is not corrupt to an extent that you can be denied your right. And of course, we also will make sure that there is the right infrastructure. People must be able to transport, if it is in tourism, for instance, in the tourist sector, as mentioned, you must be able to know that you are going to be able to take your tourists from point A to point B, and that the infrastructure in the country is good. So there is a combination of all those and many others that will be able to attract the investor to Kenya. And like any other country, because we are living in a globalized economy, and every country is trying to attract foreign direct investment, and this is going to be the main interest of the new NARC government in creating such environment that people can have confidence in the government and in the systems of the country.
Good. In the last 5 years, I must say, we have major offices in London closing down. And I wanted to pose this question to Kijana Wamalwa. The Kenya Commercial Bank had an office in London. It closed in the last about 3 years. And we had the closure of Kenya Coffee Board after trading for about over 80 years, actually. They closed about a month or two ago. Now, this sort of negative things that have happened to our country, because investing in UK in the first place was a good thing happening. Now, are there possibilities that such offices like this ones, including others that we can be able to, well, be able to open regarding putting the Kenya in the world map, are there any plans to revive such offices like these ones, or any others that will help to expand Kenya's wings?
I'm sure that the NARC government will re-examine issues of this nature, and as we embark upon the revival and expansion of our economy, that we'll find out what went wrong with organizations like this. The Coffee Organization of Kenya has held offices here since I was a student.
Yes.
And one would have expected that it would continue to represent us here, represent the Kenyan farmer, negotiate the best possible price for the Kenya coffee, and so forth. So definitely